go ahead and get started, and we'll record this. So if anyone joins late and wants to catch our conversation, they can. Really, the goal of today's getting together was to debrief this year's collaboration and to think ahead to next year. So the three sort of framing questions are what went well, what could use improvement or change, and then what are new ideas that folks want to bring. Like I said, Kelby just dropped a link. So if you're more comfortable typing feedback, or if you've jotted some notes that you want to paste in there, feel free to do that. And then we can bring those up again as we start working on next year. But otherwise, let's just go ahead and go around and check in, see how WyoGives went for you, how your last week has been, and then if you've got any top of mind thoughts about debrief, let's just go ahead and round robin those today. So I'll start. I'm Andrew Schneider with Wyoming Arts Alliance. We had a really great WyoGives Day, well exceeded our humble goals, and had a great time collaborating with you all on the event and the promotions. And I think that really helped our campaign. So yeah, I think, you know, things went pretty well. I think given our, how late we were in starting our planning. So I guess my big feedback is that if we start earlier, it'll be even easier and we can accomplish even more together. And I'll leave it there. I'll popcorn it over to you, Grace.
Oh, well, hey. Okay, I'm Grace. I'm with Grace Torres. I'm with Climb Wyoming. I just want to own, I think, one, I wasn't able to be there on Wednesday, dang it. And I'm hoping that the party at Backwards was awesome. But I really am interested just being engaged on a local level. And so I agree, like if there's any planning that I can help be a part of on the front end as we head into the next year, I would love to do that. But I feel like I was a little bit of a newbie this year and just appreciating being engaged how I was, but would love to be further engaged. And that's kind of what I have. I'm supposed to popcorn it, and is that what I'm doing? Carrie at Seton House, I'm gonna popcorn it to you.
Thanks, Grace. I don't want to be redundant. So I was there Wednesday. The big thing I missed, and I definitely was busy, but 2 years ago, having the live remote at Seton House was really valuable. And I missed that. And I didn't know if anybody was watching them, but it seemed to be better for us last year than this year in terms of donations. So I didn't know if that missing piece, if we could talk about that and maybe put that back in, or if that was just the format from that gentleman, or so I was missing that. And then I don't have any matches on my end, and I don't know, when does that information come through? I don't want to say surely, but surely we got some matches. A lot of my donations were early in the morning, and I wondered when we'll see those, or how we see those, or when to anticipate that. So those are my questions.
That's a good question, Carrie. This is Christy with WyoGives. And all of you should have received the email from the Wyoming Nonprofit Network that it was on Monday morning that it was sent out by Jody. Let me just bring it up here. And it talks about the time frame of and I'm assuming you're asking about the Hughes Charitable Foundation matches. Yep. So
I was also under the impression that Seton House in particular was eligible for the Wells Fargo match.
You should have gotten an email for that earlier in the campaign before the giving day. Did you get an email specific to the Wells Fargo match?
I don't think that I did. I just read that Wells Fargo was matching institutions that were directly affiliated with homelessness. So
okay, and was that one?
The match was last year, and I maybe should not have made an assumption on that.
I can look into that for you.
Okay, that'd be
But
great.
yeah, everybody got a specific email, because not all organizations qualified for that, obviously.
Sure.
Did you mark your cause as homelessness? I mean, was that one?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let me check on that, and I can get back to you on that. And then the Hughes Charitable Foundation, I'll just read directly from the email here. The matching funds will be distributed by ACH to your bank account. This process will take up to 4 weeks to fully complete. So you will receive an email from the Wyoming Nonprofit Network with your match amount, and this will be entered onto your profile by the WyoGives team as an offline donation. So if you're not getting these emails, you need to maybe look in your spam account or your junk file, because you will still be getting emails from the Wyoming Nonprofit Network regarding WyoGives until, I'm going to say, till the end of August at least. So do you want me to forward that to you again?
No, I got
Carrie?
the email. I just,
Okay.
the methodology from last year was that we knew right away how much
No,
we were.
you didn't know right away with the Hughes Charitable Fund. I don't believe.
I think maybe I just made an assumption last year.
Yeah,
that
maybe.
it was
Yeah.
dollar for dollar, and I just doubled my amount, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It was easy.
okay.
Definitely. It was easier last year to
Okay.
figure out what you were going to get because it was all matched. And we even
Mhm.
got to match offline donations last year,
Right.
which was amazing. But this year is a little bit more complicated.
Well, I certainly
So,
didn't want to sound greedy or
no,
impatient.
you
So,
didn't. You didn't
okay.
at all. You didn't at
Okay.
all. So
I'll be patient and wait and see.
thank you. Thank you. But
Thank you
good
for
question.
jumping in there, Christy.
Yeah, yeah.
And Carrie, I'm not sure because this was my first year, what you were referencing about a live stream from Seton House last year. Can you tell us
Yeah.
more about what that was?
Oh gosh, Christy might better answer that question.
Yeah.
I just picked a time slot. I prepared like a presentation. I had a couple board members and I had a couple participants, and we just, I don't know, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 5.
Yeah. So what?
Yeah, it was fun. I don't actually know if anybody watched it. We were super excited and we got a whole bunch of donations right away when we were done. And then I was on early and then stayed on after and listened to the people who presented around me. And I don't know, I learned a lot about their nonprofits, which were stuff I'd never heard of. And so it was just a piece. I'm sure it's a ton of work.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, Carrie, because that was one of our struggles as the WyoGives team. We really wanted, so Andrew last year, and those who weren't here last year, we were able to get a producer in. He's from South Carolina. His name is Chris Strub. He's called the Giving Day guy. And so he's kind of like this radio, social media personality that comes in on our Giving Day, and he hosts these live remote type interviews is what they were, what Carrie was talking about. And so the organizations that participated last year could sign up to be one of the live stream interviews last year. And so obviously Seton House was. Earlier in the season this year, I sent out an email asking if there was any feedback on getting a producer. The reason why we got it last year is the producer had he was fully funded by Switcher Studio. I don't know if you remember them, Carrie. They were the ones that kind of made it all happen. And this year, Chris was not funded by them. So we would have, the Wyoming Nonprofit Network and WyoGives would have had to pay almost as much as the WyoGives platform to have him come and do that producing for us. So I sent out kind of to get feedback how beneficial it was to the organizations, and everybody really liked it and enjoyed it. But other than you, Carrie, I haven't heard any good feedback about getting traction on those actual interviews that were live. So you must have marketed it very well to your donors that you were going to be on live. And
well, and that was my other piece of feedback, is that I know I received solicitations that were so nicely done, so nicely created from so many of my favorite organizations. And I felt like I just didn't do a great job. We have good software and I tried, but I think next year I will do a better job with that. I think, I sent out 2 communications, and really the people that I sent direct communication to jumped online and donated. And so I was annoyed with myself that I didn't do more legwork. Lindsay, I don't think Lindsay's on. I can't tell who else on, but Lindsay with Interfaith is our neighbor, and she created a QR code for me, like in the clutch, like that afternoon. And I was able to take that and send it via text message to all of my board members, who then sent it to their people. And it was like instant. I mean, within an hour, I don't know, we had 5 more donations. I got 5 new constituents that have never donated to Seton House before from that QR code. And so I was like, what? Oh my God, why didn't I think of that before? And seriously, I am not old, but I was like, Lindsay, like, you can't just make your own. And she's like, yeah, you really can. Watch this. I'll make one for you. And I was like, God, I feel old. I'm just not using technology to my advantage enough. And I apologize to Andrew and Kelby, who probably suggested making a QR code 3 months ago. And I was like, that's too hard. I can't do that.
Well, and there was a QR code that was sent out that was county related too, right? I sent that to you, Andrew. Were you in the mix when that came out from GiveGab? Yeah, where you could, well, the URL that you could make.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That you can
well, it's more personal reflection for me of what I know I'm going to do better next year. But I thought it was great. We're always glad to be a part of it. And I thought the party at Backwards was a lot of fun. We had a great time.
Great.
Popcorning to somebody. Mallory, you want to go next? Since I love Backwards so much. I thought you were out of town.
Sure. Amber's in New Orleans. I'm in Fort Collins.
Okay. That's still out of town. Okay.
Yes, totally. I really appreciated everyone who made this happen and put the whole day together. So my hat is off to y'all, because that was a wild ride, this being our first time. I learned a lot with the first year and understand it a little bit more. I would have loved to have seen up-to-date live stuff from the nonprofit network or WyoGives, like updates, like in real time, this is what's going on. Because I kept checking like social media stories and posts to see, like, to kind of create the excitement and buzz. Because we do have a pretty strong following on social media. And so we were sharing a lot and posting stuff, but it would have been fun to post in real time from the WyoGives social media channels. But other than that, great job to everyone. And I do have a question. Is it on July 13th every year, or is it on a Wednesday every year, or when is it?
Well, next year it will be on, this is Christy with WyoGives, Mallory. It will be on July 12th. So it's usually that second Wednesday, and sometimes it's going to fall on the third Wednesday. So it's usually going to be on a Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
And did Backwards like the WyoGives Facebook page?
I'm not sure.
We're updating quite as much as we could from here. We didn't have the producer to do the live streaming. And basically what we always would point people to focus on is the website that had the live ticker going of how much money was raised and so on and so forth. So
we do a lot, Casper Pride specifically does a lot of stories, Instagram stories, a lot of quick 24-hour tags. And I think those and like the reels get a lot of attention.
Okay.
That's just the world, the realm that we're in. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good to know. I am writing that as feedback. So Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah.
And just so you know, Mallory, this is only our 3rd year of WYO
Yeah.
Gives, so we're still growing
Heck
and
yeah.
learning as well. So
Yeah, it was so exciting to think that this was only the 3rd year because of how it's just grown
It's huge.
already. So I'm so looking forward to next year. And Angie, thanks for letting Backwards host. We had an absolute blast. I hope it was a good space, but if this is even bigger, I wonder if it's outgrown for Backwards already. And I will pass it off to Alexis.
Hey, thanks guys. Sorry, I'm working from home and my cat is sitting on my laptop. Okay, so I was not able to attend. I'm with Serve Wyoming, by the way, for those who don't know. And we had a huge national conference that happened to fall at the exact same time. So I was not in town. And we just did not get ourselves together well enough to have anybody run QR codes over to Backwards. So that is totally our oversight. I feel like we definitely dropped the ball on a lot of what we could have done this year, just because it was a pretty chaotic transitory couple of months for us. But it looks like, based on what, so like us ourselves, we did not have our best year, but it looks like that was an amazing turnout. And I definitely appreciated watching you guys. It was really fun. It looked dynamic. I do think that everybody who participated and was pretty actively engaged in that was definitely saw a benefit from it. I mean, I think all of those organizations that actually showed up and were there and were present probably got a lot more traction than they would have had they not been a part of the kind of collaboration. I did have some feedback from my director. We are federally funded as an AmeriCorps program. And so I don't know if we would be able to participate in a place that serves alcohol, because we have very, very strict rules on some of our federal funding and things like that. Now, I think that the Backwards thing was amazing, but I just wonder if there could possibly be like a different location as well next year, because I know talking to, people at like 1224 Club and a couple of those other places who would obviously feel uncomfortable holding something in a place that serves alcohol. I wonder if maybe there's an alternative, not for us to split off as 2 different things, but just maybe a different remote location that we could participate in. But that's just, that is just, I'm spitballing. I have no idea what that looks like. I don't actually have a solution for that. I'm just mentioning what I've heard from a couple people. So, but otherwise it looked amazing. And I think, like, if Backwards is still able to at least participate, although yeah, I agree, it did look really packed in there and it may have already outgrown it. I think that's an awesome venue, and it seems like that also got attention, just based on the location. So I am not saying anything negative about it being held in the tasting room. I'm just saying that I know that there were a couple orgs who were like, oh, well, we can't actually be there in person because it's in, a place with alcohol. So, but other than that, it looked great. And I think that the social media presence was amazing. The lives were great. I kept getting posts and updates all day. Like, you guys, it looked amazing. So I'm sorry that I missed it. We'll be here for it next year because that conference is at a different time, thank goodness. So
Thanks, Alexis. Definitely something good to think about there, having some sort of sober outlet. I know that in Laramie, for example, they spill out into a little bit of a street festival. And someone, Christy or someone could correct me if I'm wrong, because I wasn't actually there, obviously, but I think that may help kind of delineate that it's a street environment and you can go into Backwards, just to use that as an example, but you don't have to go
yeah,
into
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. Couple ideas there. Do you want to popcorn it over to someone?
Sure. I will send it over to Tess.
Hi, everyone. So I think first and foremost, it's just like a very big thank you to everyone who worked so hard. I just felt really lucky to be included and lucky for that opportunity. We had a great time, and I think there's continues to be different opportunities that present themselves. So a couple of notes I've written to myself. Carrie, I have a little bit more information about the Wells Fargo grant I can send you. Last year they did a match. This year they did was they selected 2 organizations that fell into different funding categories and then received that funding that raised more money. I was also very in tune with the Wells Fargo grant. That's why I have that information. But
And I should have that, but thank you, Tess.
No, that's just how the funding was selected this year.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was one thing. I really would be excited to understand how we can connect with new supporters. That would be my primary function. I think this was a great opportunity to connect with existing supporters, but what we could do collectively to host an event where we could engage with new supporters on the day of would be something I would be interested in. I don't have a solution or I don't have an answer to that, but just looking at like our data, and by no means am I sad about this, that people who are already on our team want to continue to be on our team and give on WyoGives, but I would love to be able to use that as a catalyst to connect with new supporters. And I'm coming at that with no solutions, just an interest in wanting to do that. So that would be something I would hope for next year. And then I would also, I have mixed feelings about participating in the farmers market. Kelby might have also other thoughts on this because we hung out one afternoon together there. I think I like it because I think we had good conversations with people, but in terms of like a time allocation, it is very hard to connect with people 3 weeks out in like a setting while they're trying to just like eat popcorn or have a beer and be like, in 3 weeks, mark your calendars for this. And you know what I mean? So either we have to like improve the takeaways that we're giving to people so they can like put that on their calendar or leave that on their desk or something like that. Or we just say our efforts are better suited somewhere else. So those are kind of my 2 cents. Oh, and then I need popcorn. I will go ahead. Christine, you're the only one that hasn't gone correct yet. And then Kelby as well, but Christine.
And Anna joined us just a few minutes ago too. So we'll make the rounds. Thank you, Tess.
Thanks, Tess. So I'm Christine with Jason's Friends Foundation. This was our very first year participating in WyoGives, so it was a huge learning curve for us. I have a new team, and so it was just kind of a huge thing. But we felt like we were hugely successful. I did pop in on some of these, but I kind of felt like maybe either they were late start or I was late to the party, so didn't feel like I was as readily involved with everything going on. So I'd like to definitely work on that next year to be more involved in the collaboration. With Jason's Friends, we do help statewide, so to our benefit and maybe to others would be, I know Albany County, Laramie put on quite the shindig. We were involved in all their emails in their collaboration. And a couple of the things, we actually talked about here was just having more of an outdoor fun event. And I don't know, David Street Station was thrown out there. I know in Laramie, and Christy, you may be able to speak more with Laramie, but they had a pretty big collaboration. They had concert or bands, and they had, there was a lot of things going on. A lot of emails going back and forth with that group. So I think we were successful. I think the whole event was successful. We just want to be more involved next year and play a bigger part in the collaboration. I will pass over to Anna then.
Hey guys, Andrew, thanks for putting this together. I thought that the event was a super good vibe, like a really cool way for all the nonprofits to get together and celebrate each other and celebrate those dollars as they came in. I think it started off a little bit slow, but once we got a little bit of a program to it, that seemed to pick up that vibe a little bit. I have not participated in WyoGives before, and I'm new in my position and was not able to be in Cheyenne to see how they do anything there or anything like that. I also feel like it's not my place to dictate what any of the collabs do, as each one of them take a different perspective and do a different type of event altogether. I wasn't able to hear everyone that spoke today, but if I was looking to some of the comments that were made when I heard, or that I heard, I think that there's two different ways that you could look at an event like this. One would be kind of that like in-house, in-studio telethon sort of thing, where you have all of your beneficiaries, so all of your nonprofits, a few of your regular supporters, all of that kind of thing, that are celebrating those numbers as they came in, which is similar to what was done here. Or if you're looking to have an event that engages the public and brings in more donations and things for that day, then I think that that is a different type of event than what was planned or what actually was executed for this year. So I know, looking and following the social media of a few of the other collabs, and I don't know if Christy Wilson had a chance to speak, but some of those are, out in the street and have vendor booths and different things like that. And so that style is a little bit more geared towards grabbing people's attention and having people come and attend and get to know a little bit more. For whatever reason, I don't feel like that is what happened with this one, although I know that that was the original attempt. I don't know. I thought that it was great. I think that it's awesome to be able to sit there and celebrate that together. I'm always up for opportunities for nonprofits to be networking and getting to know each other and working together and challenging each other, etc. So even if the event became nothing other than what it was this year with nonprofits connecting, I think that it's a super positive thing. And that is all of my feedback that I have.
Cool. Okay, I guess I'm last. So hi everyone. I'm sure you guys know who I am by now. Kelby with the Wyoming Arts Alliance. This was a super duper fun experience for me, just getting to know everyone and working with all these nonprofits. I've learned so much, and I'm really lucky that I'm able to do this. Oh wow, my dogs are really going crazy. Okay. So yeah, I agree with Alexis and Tess about backwards may not be the most appropriate place for everyone to go, just because of the fact that its primary function is a bar with alcohol. Like, obviously I'm 17, and so it's a little bit of an uncomfortable space for me. And if you are sober or you have other issues like we were talking about with funding, and we were that would maybe not be the best place for a function like this. And so what I would love to see next year is we can keep backwards, but maybe do like a day event somewhere like David Street or something like that. One for more youth, and two for other people that may be interested in being in a space without alcohol. And another suggestion I had was Tess and I, we went to the farmer's market on the day of parade day. And so there was not a lot of people, but there was tons of people for parade day. So I would love to see if people would be interested in doing a float for parade day next year. I participated in dozens of parades in my life, and it's actually a more simple process than it seems. You just need to make a reservation for a float. It's like a $25 fee. You just need a truck and a trailer. and a theme and things to give out. So that would be a really fun thing to do, like a Natrona collab parade float, to get some more people engaged on the street. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have here. I don't know where I'll be next year. So I don't know if this is really my place to include myself in this, but yeah, thank you everyone for all of your feedback and responding to my emails and my Zooms, and it was really nice getting to know everyone.
Thanks, Kelby, and thank you all. So I want to, with the little bit of time we have left, and if anyone needs to jump off, thank you for being here today. I did want to just think about when we might want to start a collaboration for next year, some of those deadlines. And then since Christy is here with us, I also wanted to ask, when are we still within the timeline for entering offline donations? Is that deadline today or tomorrow or passed already?
No, it is not passed already. You can enter through the end of the week. I would get them in as soon as possible. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say Friday.
So what sounds like a good plan for kind of putting this here to bed and then picking up planning again next year? There was some energy at the boot camp event, which I think, as I recall, was in March in Casper. So maybe that is a good rallying point to start, I don't know, bi-weekly meetings then?
If I could just say something real quick here. Anna did mention that the collabs are yours to do with, like, the network doesn't want to steer you in any certain way or anything, but we have to be really careful. I think this year there was a lot of confusion. People who were invited to, and it wasn't your collab, but just in general, just know this happens. There were organizations that were invited to the collab, but hadn't registered for WyoGives, and they thought they were registered for WyoGives. So we got to be really super careful only to communicate the collab meetings with those who have already registered for WyoGives. This last year, registration opened for members of the Wyoming Nonprofit Network to register for WyoGives in March. And then anybody else who wasn't a member could register after April 1st. So those are just some timelines for you. You'll want to get the list of people you want to email for that from us, whether it's me next year or somebody on the WyoGives team needs to provide you that information, because we would be sending you people who are registered for WyoGives 2023. So just keep that in mind. But also, and Anna will be working on this up there in Natrona County with you during the season that isn't WyoGives. And correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, there are going to be networking events for the nonprofits throughout the year anyway, right? That is above and beyond WyoGives.
Yes, the fourth Thursday of every month, I have a schedule that can be sent out. It will be available on our site, and registration dates will go out monthly. It's also in the Wyoming Nonprofit Network newsletter. But those rotate locations based on which nonprofit is hosting. There are opportunities to host if you have the space and want to share a little bit about your nonprofit with other nonprofits for potential collaboration. It's just a really great way to connect with fellow nonprofit folks throughout the year. So I can share more information about that, or anyone can reach out to get more information. Thank you for that, Christy.
Yep. And Anna, you can, one of the topics when we get closer to WyoGives can be WyoGives for those network meetings too. Like, hey, start thinking about WyoGives is coming up, you know, start gearing up to register for that, that kind of thing. So I hope that helps.
So I guess the question was sort of when, with all that going on, when makes sense for us to kind of come back together as a group to focus on WyoGives collaboration for next year. Does anybody have any thoughts about that before March or April?
I think I'm maybe tracking, I'm hoping I'm tracking all of these things, but it sounds like to me March would be, or a little bit before, and then it also might initiate everyone getting set up. Like
Registered.
the more time that like the awareness is out there, and then each nonprofit can choose how they're moving forward or hopefully getting involved. It gives a little bit more time and awareness out there.
Does anyone else have thoughts on that? Anna and Christy, I know you don't want to steer us, but you're allowed to have thoughts.
I would, my thought would be, thank you for that, Andrew. My thought would be, I would start no later than April. March might be too early yet, but at least April, you've got most of the Wyoming Nonprofit Network members who would have done the early bird registration would get it on there. And then you'll have some people, some organizations who aren't members that will have started registering come April. So that's my 2 cents worth.
So many 2 cents today.
2 senses,
Two
yes.
senses everywhere. I agree, and I think actually we may have greater group participation if we front load work in terms of like the collaborative effort. I think one thing I really struggled with is like that balancing of like wanting to participate in the collab, but also supporting like our individual organizations' efforts. And so if we could front load by saying like, this is our plan, this is what we're doing, and have all of that work done earlier, it may give organizations A, more inclination to be involved, and B, more time to actually focus on, you know, how do I connect with my supporters, or how do I promote for us, which I know seems, I don't want it to come off as self-serving, but I want to make sure that I can participate in both to the best of my ability, and that's how I could do that.
Tess, you bring up a really good point, because what I've seen in the past, especially last year and this year, are the newer collabs this year spent a lot of time, and Andrew and Kelby, you were 2 of them, you spent a lot of time working the collab, which is great. You kind of had to find your rhythm, but then that probably might have taken away from your, what Tess said, you focusing on your own organization's campaign for WyoGives itself. And that happened down here in Laramie County as well last year. And they kind of fixed that. They figured that out and got that. So yes, definitely, you don't want the collab busy work to take you away from your WyoGives campaign. It's meant for all of you to get together and network and know each other as a community, as well as market WyoGives for your local efforts. So I think you guys did a really good job as a first year collab. So, but yes, Tess brings up a really good point that nobody should sacrifice their own campaign to run the collab.
So I had one last question that we kind of got into today, and so I'm hearing, you know, March, April start time, just to close that question. But So we've talked a little bit about the venue and maybe having something, another option. And then part of that conversation, I think, got into a conversation about time of day. And I wanted to just focus on that a little bit more because what I heard from folks last year, 2021, was that kind of throughout the day there was giving, and the match, the Hughes match, which is a big incentive for people to participate in WyoGives, lasted into maybe the evening or all day. And then today, by I think the end of our event, there was already $3 million raised on the day. And so it's actually grown quite a bit. And some of the feedback I heard from people was that, oh, we should have organized earlier in the morning when more of those matching funds were available this year. So I'm just curious if folks feel like, from an event standpoint, do we need to do something earlier in the day, or maybe something focused more on fundraising earlier in the day and then a celebration later in the day? Or what ideas are out there that you all have for time of day?
I agree with that, Andrew. Not trying to steer you guys, but from my perspective and seeing the other collaboratives, their events were well attended by the other organizations, but not necessarily by any donors or new donors that they would have gotten because of the event. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it, instead of it being a working event, like with booths and all of that, it should be a celebration of sorts for you guys to celebrate your hard work. And you can still, if you're presented with new people, new donors at that time, you can still talk to them, but it's not focused on that. Just my 2 cents, another 2 cents from what I saw. So celebration all the way is what I would say.
Did I hallucinate this? It's been a busy summer. Did I make up the fact that one group did they posted up at like coffee shops? Did I make that up?
No, you did not. It
Okay.
was that was the Sheridan County collab, or Sheridan in town. Sheridan collab. It was their second year of doing, they call it a coffee crawl.
Mhm.
Laramie County did it last year, and they were all exhausted going from one coffee place to the next.
Mhm.
Sheridan, I believe, split up the coffee shops up there amongst their group and had a few, or don't quote me on this because I'm not sure, had a few organizations at each coffee shop that, instead of them going around to all of them, they set up like that. And then they made videos for us and sent them to me, and then I uploaded them to Facebook to show what they were doing. Yeah, so that's probably where you saw it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I was just curious, like maybe people would be more interested in donating like their time from an organizational standpoint, to say like, hey, at all of the coffee shops downtown or across our community from like early in the morning. Do you see what I mean? To like capture that early. If we had like giving stations, or we'll come up with a better name, giving stations is terrible, but something like that at those locations with devices that people could log on and make a gift while they're getting a cup of coffee. Do you see what I mean? Or something. I know that seems like an aggressive amount of work, but I like that early morning conversion of that, if it is about gift giving early in the morning. But I also understand that's like a wild amount of effort and would require a lot of people to be engaged. But I would be curious to hear how it went for the Sheridan group. If there was any value. And I know they kind of did it all day. I wonder if you could front load and say, we're going to be there from.
I think they did it from 9 a.m. to 11. Let me look here. I tried to keep track of all y'all. It was hard this year, I'm telling you. And Tess, do you know, are you connected with any of the?
Yeah, I could reach out
groups?
to the Habitat affiliate.
Okay.
She's
Well, 'cause-
wonderful. Yep. And I think that's actually probably who I saw the most content from in regards to that, but I
Gotcha.
don't know if there was value in that or if it's just another place.
Well, we're all still kind of figuring it out, so I don't see anything wrong with, connecting with them and asking them what worked and what didn't work, which I know you guys are all good at. I'm trying to open this document, but
Just for my own thoughts, I'll go ahead and reach out to her and get her feelings on it, and then I can share those thoughts, whether good or indifferent, with the group to see if that's something we would ever be interested in.
Great. Well, Kelby is off to his piano lesson, but he'll type up notes when he's back to his keyboard with more than 88 keys. And we'll get those out sometime this afternoon. But I think there's some really great new ideas for next year. There's also some brainstormed ideas in the previous meeting notes. So when we do kind of get motivated in March or April, we'll have all of those documents we can kind of go back to start these conversations again. And if folks are interested in thinking ahead, I'm happy to kind of keep this conversation going with other folks, and so that when we hit March and April, it's not such a cold start. And also, I'm happy to join. We had talked about if there are any convenings of multi-county nonprofits or folks like WYO who are kind of participating in different ways in different county collaboratives. If there's any debrief that you want to do with us, Christy, I'm happy to join that. And it might be a good idea to bring some learning from those other communities before March and April, so we all have some best practices lessons from each other. So,
and you know what, we being the WyoGives team, will probably have more time to get feedback from everybody this week. Obviously, we're still super busy with all of the details of the post WyoGives Day, but for sure, yeah, anything that I can bring to the table to give you guys ideas without, we really want to be careful, like I said, not to disrupt your organic growth of your own collaborative there, because it really is different per community. And so we don't, we're really just here so you don't go off the rails somehow. That's just so totally not geared towards WyoGives, I guess, is really what we're here for. So not to tell you what to do or how it should look or what it should smell or taste like, because that's all you and your community for sure.
I appreciate that. I grew up on Star Trek, so the prime directive is, it's prime for a reason, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, on that intergalactic note, thank you for a super stellar event and collaboration. I look forward to seeing you on at a fourth Thursday networking coming up, if not before then. Anyone else have anything to close out?
Just thank you for all of your hard work. You've done so much work that people haven't even seen, so we're just really, really grateful for that.
You guys all did really well. So you should be proud of yourself. Even though you feel like you had a late start, you guys were pretty awesome. So good job, good collaboration.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye, guys.